Welcome back to another episode of In Depth and Out Loud with me, Dubbz. So if you are a marketing student or you're interested in branding, this is definitely the conversation for you. Today joining me is Ray, who is head of marketing at Nespresso. You better love yourself some coffee. I'm so excited for this conversation. Ray, hi, and thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start here. Can you share your journey, career journey with us, and just how it led to you now being head of marketing at Nespresso?
Sure. So it's been such a long journey. I'm actually a scientist. Yes.
A scientist?
I'm actually a scientist. I studied biomedical sciences. And I was really into science, and I really wanted to go into research. So I studied that at UKZN, and afterwards I actually found a job in Pretoria at the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research.
What?
I was doing an internship for HIV research, and I thought, one day I'll find the cure for HIV.
That's beautiful.
So from there, I actually then transitioned into the police. So I became a forensic analyst, still working in the lab, but really just taking my science and doing some good with it.
Yeah.
And then from there, I actually joined a pharmaceutical company called Eli Lilly. And there I, also using my science knowledge and background, did pharmaceutical repping where I engaged with healthcare professionals on insulin. And then I enjoyed and I started getting used to brand management. And I ended up becoming a brand manager within the same company. And from there, got headhunted at Nestle and started as a brand manager in the infant nutrition space.
Yes.
Also still using my science background. And 8 years later moved into Nespresso as the head of marketing.
Wow.
So yes, people ask me where did I start and how did I end up here? And it is a very interesting journey.
That is extremely interesting. But are you, right now, are you content this is it for you? You don't feel like going back into the field of sciences, research again, tap into finding the cure?
You never know what the future holds, but right now I'm extremely happy where I am. I've been touching on different types of marketing,
Yes.
so from the pharmaceutical side of things to the FMCG side of things, and now I'm actually in that luxury space where it's all about that experiential marketing.
Wow.
So very, very interesting and exciting and challenging at the same time.
That's really interesting because a lot of people will stick to literally, one kind of industry throughout, and that's kind of like their journey. And yours is just, but it's also interesting how the science still plays a role in this entire journey of yours. It's absolutely amazing. What were some of the biggest challenges though when you entered into the marketing industry, and how did you overcome these challenges?
So you could only imagine moving from science and talking science to then moving into marketing. So I had to actually teach myself to learn, unlearn, and then relearn the new ways of doing things. So it was a bit of a challenge and a mindset change. But I think if you just, open to just learning constantly, you get the hang of things. And I've actually seen my passion shift from science into that marketing space.
That is so interesting. What were some of the skills that you kind of started developing earlier on in your career and that you feel have now actually contributed to your career and just to where you are now?
So I think two things. Firstly, communication skills. I think with whatever role you take on, to be a good communicator and just making sure that you're very clear in what type of message you want to deliver to the right type of audience. And then the second thing is maybe managing expectations. So I think it's always important to really be clear with whoever you're speaking to in terms of what is going to be achieved, so that they are aware that this is what they are going to expect. A lot of the time people don't like to be surprised. They like to know what they're getting. I think just managing that discussion with either your line manager or an agency or your direct report, I think it's very important that you are very clear in your message.
So Nespresso is obviously a global brand. How do you balance that global identity and also still tapping into the South African markets?
Very good question. So we are actually on this journey now of, brand building with this local relevance. Like you said, Nespresso is that global brand, and we have all our global campaigns that are coming at an international level. So what we are trying to do is take that and then locally adapt it based on our cultural nuances, based on South African preferences, and also including types of influences that represent the South African Rainbow Nation. That's not something that you would see at a global level. So these are the types of things where we're trying to introduce local culture into our marketing campaigns.
Take us through the process of launching a new product in South Africa and how that differs with other regions.
Sure. So at Nespresso, we have both coffees and we have machines.
Yes.
So with the coffees, it's really about, the taste profiles, and we decide, out of this portfolio of many coffees that Nespresso has, what would appeal to the South African market. South Africans love sweet tasting coffees. They don't like coffees that are too bitter. So we really look at the profiles of the coffees, and we import those directly from Switzerland. And then from a machine perspective, also South Africans love milk in their coffees. So you'll see that when we have to choose which coffees or which machines to bring in, we decide on what do South Africans prefer and what would be most convenient for them.
That's interesting, because earlier on you and I were just talking and I said to you, do you love coffee? And you said, oh, you love coffee.
I love coffee.
And you said to me that everybody that works there, the first question, what do you ask them? What is the question that they're asked actually when you're interviewed to work for Nespresso?
First question, do you like coffee? Do you like Nespresso? Do you drink Nespresso? So you have to love the brand that you're working on. And there's always new coffees coming in. There's always tastings of new coffees. So you really need to be passionate about coffee.
How do you define your target customer for Nespresso?
It's quite a wide audience.
Yeah.
If maybe we look at 5-10 years ago, our audience was more of that more established generation that, they have a bit more disposable income. They can afford the finer things in life. But as we actually see now, future trends, when we look at our Gen Zs and our millennials, who actually favor experiences over actual material things, we are realizing that our target market is actually widened. So now we're looking at anything from that Gen Z all the way to baby boomers. Of course, tailoring the communication specific to the needs of these different target markets.
What would you say your leadership style is, and what are the methods you use to, keep the gees going in the team, which is important, right? Staff morale and all of that, so that the team is together and they can perform on all these marketing campaigns and deliver.
Sure. For me, as I'm going through my career and my journey, I am feeling a lot more comfortable with this type of leadership called servant leadership, which is really about putting the needs of my team first before I put my needs first. So really just making sure that my team is happy, comfortable, that they have the right amount of support. For me, it's about empowering the team. So letting them be in the driver's seat, letting them find the solutions to these problems, and really just empowering them so that they have that autonomy to, move on and, grow and develop and learn within their roles.
I think I want to come work for you now, after you've said that. Speaking of me coming to work for you, what kind of qualities do you look for when you're taking on new talent within marketing, and what is it that you do? What are the strategies to foster growth with this new team, especially I'd say like graduates, people who are just starting out?
So I've had my fair share of interviews, all the way from graduates and interns to seasoned brand managers. And really, for me, what I've learned in the interview process is the positive mindset that a person has while conducting that interview. I truly believe that, competency, skills can be taught over time. But if you have that right attitude, the world is your oyster. You can really accomplish anything that you want and need. Of course, having a coach to guide you through it.
Of course.
So yeah, for me, it is, how I sense check that is, once I've hired that person, having a lot of conversations about their development. Some people know from the get-go where they want to be.
Yeah.
And it makes life easier in terms of identifying what gaps they have now and what gaps we need to close in order for them to be prepared for that next role. Whereas others who don't really know where they want to go, and we also build that into a development plan where we say, maybe you spend some time in different marketing streams, understand what you like, what you don't like. And then every 3 to 6 months, let's assess it and see maybe something stands out. And if you want to follow that path, then we build a stronger plan in that direction.
It sounds healthy. It sounds healthy in your team. That's all I'm going to say. But what are some of the biggest challenges you've had to deal with at Nespresso, and how did you overcome that?
So I think with Nespresso, we are still starting that journey of understanding our consumers and just really segmenting and unpacking what each type of person wants from a cup of coffee. So one of the biggest challenges is really taking that data and, unpacking it and understanding what type of communication that they're looking for, and basically rewarding that behavior. So we're on this journey. We're getting there slowly but surely.
Absolutely.
But really, because it is a luxury brand and it's all about experiences, we want to reward our customers for that.
So as you know, we've got students who are interested in marketing and branding. What advice would you give these students who are interested in tapping into this industry?
So I think first and foremost, you have to be consumer-centric. So you have to put the customer at the center of everything that you do. So having said that, you have to have this curious mind. You have to really understand human behavior, why people are purchasing certain products. Why would your brand be in their mindset? So really just understanding that. I think what's really big is data-driven decisions. So you have to have some analytical skills in order for you to look at that data, turn it into an insight, and then turn it into an action, and then take that forward. So really, I think it's if you are interested in brand building, it's not just about advertising. It's really about understanding those trends and that deep-seated human truth for you to build your brand.
What's normally the entry-level position in marketing?
It depends. If we're looking at just brand managers, you can start off as an intern, go into a graduate, then become an assistant brand manager, then a brand manager, then a senior brand manager. So there's different levels depending on your level of responsibility. So yeah, there's lots of opportunities.
Can you share with me where you had a marketing campaign and everything was put together, you planned everything nicely, and it didn't work out, didn't go according to plan? And what did you learn from that?
Okay, let me think about one very recently.
Yeah.
So this year we planned a summer campaign, and it was meant to be planned in January of this year, in line with the summer period. And there were a couple of delays, and it ended up we ended up moving the event from January to February. Having said that, our coffees that were being launched within the same period was launched in January as expected. So when it came time for the actual event, our coffees actually ran out. We became out of stock on it. So we had this amazing event and we created all of this, excitement around these new coffees. But when customers went into store, they actually couldn't find it because it was already sold out. So very big learning is that you have to make sure that you are forecasting correctly, especially if you are creating a huge launch event around these coffees. So there's lots of moving parts. You just need to make sure that all of the parts are moving together at the same time.
But also, I think in a situation like that, Shame, I mean, when things go wrong, there's often that thing of somebody's going to be blamed. Yeah, well, you didn't do this, you didn't, or you guys don't do that much at Nespresso. You've learned to take it as a team and move forward.
Yes, I think, for me, I don't see anything as a mistake or a failure. It's a learning. As long as you learn from it and you plan better using that information, you have to start somewhere.
Tell us about the importance of okay, so sometimes you'll have an event, right? And we'll say, no, we're going there, we're going to build relationships, we're going to do this and this and that, and this event is there, it's a networking event.
Sure.
And I think a lot of people don't quite know how to network at an event in an effort to build these professional relationships. I know that I struggle because you're just like, what am I going to do?
Yes.
How do I go to this person? What is the first thing
Sure.
you kind of like say, So how do you do it, and what's the first thing you say? Like, I promise you, I don't know how to network. I'm being very honest. I get it's cringe. Like me coming up to you, I don't know what I'm going to say. So take us through that process.
So I'm very similar to you in that regard. I find it a very awkward situation just approaching somebody and starting a conversation. I take a different approach. So yes, if we are at these events, of course I would introduce myself, but then keep it there. I wouldn't get into, going any further than that, and then take it offline. So say, I'll connect with you on LinkedIn, or I'll get your contact details in a less formal setting, and eventually build some rapport, exchange messages. Obviously, you want to network because you want to learn from that person.
Exactly.
And I'm sure the person would want to learn from you, especially if you are in a similar industry, or if you're not in the similar industry. There's still certain challenges that we both might be facing. So I would, yes, take it offline and then start building some sort of a relationship there. And then if we want to connect over coffee and just, get to know each other a little bit better, then we set that up. But it's a journey, it's a process.
No, it is. I like your style because that's how I've been doing it. I just know. I can't. It's just a nice general conversation. And sometimes it does lead to you kind of like, oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm in this industry. I do this and this. Like that. Nice and easy.
Nice and easy. It should be natural, yes.
Don't force it.
Yes.
Don't turn it into like an interview now.
Yes, no, 100%.
No, okay. So I thought maybe I'm the cringe one. So I'm good with that. So we'll keep it moving in that way. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions.
I'm feeling nervous now.
But these are cool ones, right? So one phrase, one word.
Okay.
Ray, we're stepping out of the office now.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Fave South African saying, word or phrase.
You used it earlier.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I like yes.
Yes.
And current song on repeat?
Ooh. Probably People by Libianca.
Okay.
Yeah.
Words you live by.
Work hard, play hard.
Like that one. Most important goal that you're working on right now?
I think still finding balance in life. Just taking on more activity, keeping healthy, but maintaining a good work-life balance.
How would people describe you if you, ma'am, are not in the room?
Wow. Okay. I would think firstly calm. I get that a lot. Very calm, curious, ask a lot of questions, and probably caring.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. I feel caring.
Yeah.
I like that one. One last question I have for you. Any advice you have for students just in terms of where they can apply for marketing jobs as graduates, for entry-level positions?
I think it's always important, using LinkedIn as a social media platform, but as a professional network, joining companies that they feel that, they can fit into and it's in line with their values. Follow them. Companies always post about different career availabilities. So I think I would start there. Networking, as we mentioned, if there's certain people in the field that you follow within those companies, just reach out. You never know. There may not be an opportunity now, but there may be an opportunity later. So,
Absolutely. And Nespresso South Africa, do you guys post intern opportunities on your website or?
All the time. So we definitely use our LinkedIn platform to share with everyone what opportunities are available, and on our website as well. So if there is anything, reach out and You never know where you might end up.
Maybe Ray might be sitting there with you, interviewing you for your first job. You never know.
And at least everyone knows what the first question would be, right? So
you better like yourself some coffee.
Yes.
Ray, thank you so much for joining us today. It has been so informative. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me.
Well, there we go. You know what you need to do. Go onto LinkedIn, go onto Nespresso South Africa website. There could be opportunities there as well. I'm also going to add Biz Community actually, because I know it has a lot of marketing, branding jobs as well there. So until next time, happy hunting.